All right, chapter 4 is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to just transfer a lot of our information over. So the first part in 4-1, we're going to come up and say, it's really just we're classifying in the first part. So in accounts payable, what is it? And we're going to say it's a liability. Remember, anything payable is a liability. Receivable is an asset. Payable, liability, receivable, an asset. Miscellaneous, it goes under owner equity, but is it the capital or is it an expense? So it says expense, so we're going to put it there. Insurance expense goes under expense. Prepaid insurance is an asset. Isabel's drawing, this is going to be under an expense. Or actually, no, sorry, owner equity. Cash is going to go under asset. Sales will go under revenue. Supplies is going to go under asset. Supplies expense is going to go over here in expense. Automobile expense. Capital is owner equity. And then rent expense is going to go under expense. Now this will play more out in chapter 5 or 6 whenever we do worksheets. That's where this is going to kind of play out more. So we can go on to our next step. And what we're going to introduce to you guys is what's called a chart of accounts. So I think of this as a legend that you have like on maps and those kind of things, and they kind of tell you if like it's a star, then it tells you what the star means. Well, we do the same thing in accounting, but instead of little symbols, we give them account numbers because we love numbers in accounting, right? So all of our assets are going to be in the 100s. Liabilities is going to be 200s. Owner equities are 300s. All of our revenues are going to be 400s, and all of our expenses are going to be 500s. Now, how we count them off is we count them off by tens. So this gives us room if we need to add in another account. We have spaced it out far enough that we can still add in another account. So in assets, we're always going to put our accounts receivables first, and we're going to label them by, like, if it's a last name, we're going to I'll make it alphabetized. So this accounts receivable to L North is going to go first because N is before V in the alphabet, and we're going to give it 120. Cash will always be 110. I don't know why it's mixed them up. So 110 is going to be cash, and then we put in our accounts receivables for 110 and 130. And then supplies is going to be 140, and don't ask me why. If you have your own business, you can make it however you want. But in Mindtap, supplies will always go before prepaid insurance. I'm guessing it's because it's tangible versus future. So prepaid insurance is going to be 150. So if you noticed, we counted off by 10. So cash was first, 10, 120, 130, supplies was 140, and then prepaid is 150. So we counted them off by tens. Liabilities. We are going to put this alphabetical. So accounts payable, this ANACOA, is going to be 210, and Supply Mart is going to be 220. Now, owner equity, our capital always goes first, so it's going to be 310, and our drawing is 320. Sales and revenue, there's only one, but if you were a company that had like companies in like Taylorsville, and then you had one in Midvale, and you had one in Lehigh or whatever, you would have like sales in Taylorsville store or sales in Midvale store. You can split it up by that, but this company only has one. Expenses, we're just going to go alphabetical, so get to know your ABCs, right? So automotive is first, so that's going to be 510. And then insurance is going to be 520. Miscellaneous is going to be 530. And then rent expense will be 540. And supplies will be 550 into expenses. Okay, so this is what's called the chart of accounts. Okay, we'll go to the next step. The next step is when we have a new account. So it talks about this, Miss Seville has classified a postage cost, so a miscellaneous expense. So she wants to add in a couple of other things. She also wants to create, so her postage is going to be called miscellaneous expense. Sorry, let me go back on this. Has found out the amount has become more major, so she has decided to separate and have it an actual postage expense. There we go. Also, a new account called utilities expense. This is going to be added to the chart of accounts. So the account title, account number should be assigned to postage. So we're going to come up here. Where would P go in between all of these? So we have to kind of look and see, okay, it's going to go between miscellaneous and rent. That's where the P would fall in. So in this case, we're just going to go right into the middle. So we go 535. So that again gives us room if they add in another expense that we can do that. So we're going to give postage expense 535, and then the account title for utilities expense. Where would it line up? Well, it's at the bottom. So we're going to give that one 560. So we're just going to keep going with the 10. All right. And then this is going to introduce us to chapter 4, which is called the ledger. And this is where this information will go. We would put the account title in the account, and we would put the number over here on account 2. All right, so the value entered for location 1, we're going to identify it as cash. And what would be our account number? Well, you can look up top here, and it was 110. So that's going to be in column 2. So we're now setting into our ledgers. And this is a big introduction to what we are going to be doing in the next 2 sections. So if you need help, let me know, and we'll go from there.